my greatest education in real estate was when I bought my first property. I mean, that I learned more buying my own property than I had in the 5 years prior. You know, it's humble yourself.
Hey everyone, say hi to Facebook. I'm here with Will Colas of Kerdyk Realty. Will, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming.
I was, as you may have seen on Facebook Live just a few minutes ago, was with Chris Colston of Second Chance Credit, which is right next door. So I said, hey, Will, are you available? He said, yeah. I said, you want to do a video with me? I said, I'm not dressed for it. That's fine.
I'm never dressed for the occasion, though, so it's okay.
I said, just do your hair, and I think we'll be good. So, so here we are.
Cool, man.
So I've known Will for a few years, and they're definitely in a very nice spot of Coral Gables, Kerdyk Realty. And so, Will, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate. How long you've been in real estate?
So I was born and raised in Miami. Grew up. I'll just tell you a brief history of my work experience. So worked at Winn-Dixie at 14.
I did Publix in my teens.
As a bag boy. And then at 15 I started working at Crook & Crook, which is the big fishing store on 27th Avenue, US 1. And when I was about 18 or 19, met a gentleman that was in real estate at the time, and I was thinking to myself that I don't want to be at Crook & Crook for the rest of my life. But I enjoyed fishing, so that's why I was there, working there in my teenage years. And I asked the guy if I could, get a job with him. And he told me that once I graduated Miami-Dade to go get my real estate license, and he would hire me. Graduated Dade, got my license in July of 2006. And we all know what happened right after that.
And my license was 2005 in mortgages. Actually, January 2006, I did the test in 2005.
Cool.
Whatever.
So got my license July 2006, and called the guy up and was like, I'm ready to come, do whatever you need me to do. And he's like, listen, I don't like the way this is headed. I'm not doing that anymore. So I was 21 years old at the time with a real estate license. And really didn't know anything about real estate, but still living with my parents at the time. Our neighbor, his father-in-law, had his license here at Kerdyk. So I came in one day and talked to him and talked to Bill Kerdyk and put my license here going on 13 years ago.
Nice.
Been here ever since. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the Kerdyk name, I keep seeing it pop up. It's big in the Gables because that's how I noticed it. So tell me a little bit about what your knowledge is of the Kerdyk history in Coral Gables.
So up until a few years ago, there had been a Kerdyk on the Coral Gables dais for 60-some years. Bill Kerdyk Jr. was a city commissioner. His dad was a city commissioner for 20-some years, and his uncle was a city commissioner. And Kerdyk Real Estate's been in the Gables, I want to say, since 1926. So a long history in the Gables here.
I think I've seen old listings, Kerdyk listings, like newspaper clippings and stuff.
Yeah. We have a bunch.
That's where I've seen them in the lobby. Yeah. Cool. So I got a really tough question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite hobby?
I don't know. Spin the camera.
I think we got
spin the camera. How do you spin this thing, dude? Spin the thing, dude.
Just pick it up and show.
I don't know. What's that?
That's a fish there in the background. You got more over there.
I don't know. I just like nature.
And if you heard the reggae music going on, we've got some reggae on TV here.
I just like nature, man. Well, yeah, fishing for sure.
Yeah.
Fishing for sure.
Now, a little fun fact, something you and I share in common, is you love fishing, but you get seasick.
I do. So I stick to, it's actually a good thing I get seasick because
your wife isn't upset that you're out on a boat all day?
No. I mean, like, philosophically speaking, like if I didn't get seasick, I would not be in real estate. I would be, working on a charter boat somewhere, and I'd be in the pirate life, and pirate life is not always the most healthy and beneficial lifestyle. So
Yeah.
it's actually good that I get seasick. So I mean, aside from getting seasick, I stick to inshore fishing, and I enjoy it more. Probably because I don't get seasick, but I fish for tarpon, snook, bonefish, permit, redfish, everything that you catch inshore, and then in the freshwater, peacock bass and all that good stuff. So I'm actually it doesn't upset me that I get seasick. Still plenty of fish I can catch.
Yeah. What's funny is for me, another, I guess you could say, whatever you call it, impairment, disability, that changed my course of career as well, was that I'm colorblind. So my colorblindness, which I've known about all my life, when I went to join the army, they said, well, I couldn't be. Sorry, guys. My camera has a mind of its own sometimes, and it starts panning. But there, I think I stopped it. I don't know. I'm not good with technology, but so when I went to join the army, I wanted to be military police. I was studying criminal justice, so I would have gone down that path, been forensic psychologist. I wanted to, get into the minds of serial killers. I mean, this is really what I wanted to do. They said, "Well, you're colorblind. You can't be military police." I said, "What the hell? Are you chasing the bad guy? What, I guess if you're chasing someone with a red shirt and I can't tell it's red, I think it's green, then I can't do it." I said, "All right." So I needed to be admin in the army. That's why I was postal. For those that don't know. So I did the mail, but of course I was the first one deployed because our postal unit was always deployed first to Afghanistan and Iraq. So that changed my course from criminal justice to later international relations and economics. And then economics took me into mortgages. So I guess we have that similarity where something made us change course and brought us to where we are now. And
things happen for a reason.
Yeah. So,
cool.
So what specializations do you have or have you had in real estate?
That's a good question, man, because I think my focus has not shifted but changed over the last couple of years. So I started mainly in the commercial side of the business, and then that trickled down into residential transactions, and it trickled down into residential transactions because I found residential transactions much easier to do than commercial transactions. So I always tell people it's very easy for a commercial broker to do a residential deal. It's not always easy for a residential broker to do a commercial deal. And I have a lot of friends that aren't buying commercial buildings, but they wanted houses, so I would help them do that, and that just led to more residential deals. So I kind of do both. Over the last few years, I've but I've added to my specializations where I now invest in properties for myself.
So you buy and flip, or you buy and build? What are you?
I mean, both.
But you lived in a house for a while that you...
Right, so I bought... So my first property I bought was 2011. I lived there for a couple of years, sold it. Then I bought an investment property in 2000, while I was still living there, 2014. Sold that in 2015. Bought a piece of property in 2015, built a house there, sold that in 17. Just closed on another piece of land where I'm going to be building a house. And then I partnered with people, and we bought property together as far north as Port St. Lucie, which we're closing on one hopefully here in the next month.
I saw your video with the guy cutting the grass next door,
exactly.
trying to bridge the communication gap on
that. So yeah, man, I've been doing a little bit of everything, but I enjoy it.
So I guess one thing we could say that is a specialization you have, for those that might be interested, is since you've had success yourself buying and fixing up and flipping, that might be some good advice you would have for someone looking for an investment property.
My greatest education in real estate was when I bought my first property. I mean that I learned more buying my own property than I had in the 5 years prior. It's you look at things differently.
Yeah.
And I've done that multiple times, so I'm able to, take that knowledge and pass it to somebody that's doing it for themselves.
I guess I find a similarity there with my commercial property.
Yeah.
Everything I learned in not just the purchase process, but what happens after, you know, because in the
Mm-hmm.
mortgage business and real estate, you're done when the person owns it and you're out.
Right.
But what is learned after? What are all the things that you learned owning your own commercial property that are invaluable in giving to other clients? And that's something I found in my personal experience.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, I look at things very on real estate transactions, both residential and commercial. Sometimes I think I freak out people on the residential side just a little bit because I look at numbers and cents, and you know, because I come from the commercial side of it. So sometimes somebody that's just asking for, you know, placing an order, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and I start getting into like numbers and, you know, figuring out what it could be worth and this and that, you know, they might get a little like, what's this guy saying? But the ones that understand that stuff, I think, appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah.
But I'm not just taking an order, because I do look at things a little deeper than the normal person.
And we get a lot of that in our industries. You get what I call glorified order takers.
Yeah.
You get that a lot from, I'm not going to name anything because I don't want to put anyone out there, but you know, you don't want to deal with a glorified order taker. You want to get someone that can educate you and understands and says, hey, if you know this doesn't look right to me, have you considered this?
Right.
Instead of just, I'll do whatever you tell me and move you forward.
Right.
Right. You know, so that's great value that you bring to the table.
Yeah. And it's all because I've done it myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's the, you know, like they say in Spanish, what is it? Lo go enseño.
Mm-hmm. Los años no pasan por gusto.
Exactly.
The years don't pass for no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it? The punches show you. The punches teach you.
The punches
Right.
teach you. Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
dude.
Well, thank you for having me for our one-to-one meeting, and then
Yeah, man, this was fun.
coming on Facebook together. So
This was awesome.
You know, but we'll both post this, and then I'll make sure I get it edited for you, and we'll post them on all our other platforms.
Awesome,
And
dude.
thank you all for watching, even those that just came in and popped out or
Yeah.
what have you. Anything you need to know, you know, mortgage nerd here, Phil Stevenson, teaching you guys about different real estate professionals. in
The real estate fisherman.
and the real estate fisherman, the mortgage nerd and the real estate fisherman. You know, gotta love our little catchphrases.
100%, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Thank you.